Hello, welcome to this tropical update. So let's see what's happening in the Atlantic because we now have tropical depression 18 in just south of Jamaica. We still have this other area to investigate and the remnants of Patty there. So let's see, still between today and Tuesday, it might produce some periods of a little bit heavier rain near Spain and Portugal because of its remnants, but nothing crazy. There's this other area. An airflow pressure could develop near the northern Leeward Islands in a few days. Some slow development of the system is possible after that time, as it moves generally westward over the southwestern Atlantic. So be aware, but the main deal now is Tropical Depression 18. So it's now forecast to become a hurricane before hitting western Cuba, and there is some tropical storm warnings in Jamaica, some hurricane warnings in the Cayman Islands, and some hurricane watches in western Cuba, most of western Cuba there, and some tropical storm watches in central Cuba. So it's then forecast to go into the Gulf and maybe weaken to a tropical storm before it comes close to the US. So let's see here. Hurricane conditions expected in the Cayman Islands on Tuesday and also in parts of Cuba early Wednesday, where hurricane warnings and watches are in effect. There's a risk of dangerous impacts from hurricane force winds to storm surge in the Cayman Islands and parts of western Cuba. Tropical storm conditions expected in Jamaica this evening. Interest in the Florida Keys should closely monitor the progress of the system, as tropical storm watches could be required for those areas later today. The systems then forecast to enter the Gulf of Mexico later this week, but given significant uncertainties in the long-range forecast and track and intensity, it's too soon to determine what, if any, impacts could occur. Residents in the area should regularly monitor for updates in the forecast in the Gulf. And the system will bring heavy rains across parts of western Cuba and Jamaica and central Cuba for midweek. Flooding and mudslides are possible in those areas, especially like the Cayman Islands and western Cuba. Heavy rainfall will spread north into Florida and adjacent areas of the southeastern United States mid to late week. So be careful in those areas. Now, the key messages in Spanish for Cuba and those areas. So let's see. Se esperan condiciones de huracán en las islas Caimán el martes y son posibles en porciones de Cuba a primera hora del miércoles, donde hay avisos y vigilancias de huracán. Hay un riesgo de impactos peligrosos con vientos de fuerza de huracán y barrada ciclónica en las islas Caimán, porciones del oeste de Cuba. Y se esperan condiciones de tormenta tropical en Jamaica esta noche. Los intereses en los cayos de Florida deben monitorar muy de cerca este sistema, ya que podrían requerirse de vigilancia de tormenta tropical para porciones de estas zonas más tarde hoy. Se pronostica que el sistema entrará en el Golfo de México a finales de esta semana, pero dadas las incertidumbres significativas en la trayectoria e intensidad del pronóstico a largo plazo, es demasiado pronto para determinar qué impactos podrían ocurrir en el Golfo, pero si los hubiera, los residentes de esta área deben monitorar regularmente las actualizaciones del pronóstico. Este sistema trae fuertes lluvias a través de porciones del Caribe Occidental, incluyendo Jamaica, Cuba, a mediados de la semana. Son posibles inundaciones y deslizamientos de tierra en estas áreas. Muchas precauciones y las fuertes lluvias extenderán norte a Florida y otras partes del sudeste de Estados Unidos a medianos finales de esta semana. Entonces, muchísimas precauciones. Good. So stay safe there. They already have the rainfall potential like close to 100 to 150 millimeters in Jamaica, or even close to 200. Southern and eastern Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, so like 100 to 150 millimeters, and in Cuba there's still lower confidence, but I'll show you the models in a second. So yeah, be careful in those areas and stay safe. There are the warnings there and watches, and yeah. And the tropical storm force winds already shows some higher probabilities in the Cayman Islands, in Cuba especially, and in Jamaica too. Especially shows high winds in western Jamaica, but the worst rain will be eastern southern Jamaica. So be careful. There are the hurricane force winds possible in Cuba there, and maybe the Cayman Islands, and the 50 knot winds more in those areas. So please be careful in those areas and stay safe. So here we do have those are the islands of Patty, who could affect Spain and Portugal some rainstorms and then go away north. The show, yeah, it's already dissipating very weak. But then there's Tropical Depression 18. There's the track there I showed you. So most global and hurricane models take this just south of Jamaica. The core of it, it will affect Jamaica a lot, but the core might pass just south, and shows passing through western Cuba. Expects some bigger impacts there, and shows then going to the Gulf. Most models are now trending towards Louisiana or Mississippi there in Alabama, but still some models might be in another area. So be aware. The intensity guidance has uptrended a little bit from yesterday, but most models show like a category 1 around on 48 to 120 hours, and then it will weaken again in the Gulf there. But that time around Cuba in the southern Gulf might be a category 1. Even there's one model shows major hurricane, but that's just like one model, and another one shows category 2. 3 of them actually shows category 2. So be careful in Cuba in those areas. There's some GFS Canadian ensembles. They take this just south of Jamaica through the Cayman Islands and Cuba, mainly into the northern Gulf, but some go east and other members go west. Now the GFS ensembles take this through Jamaica there, right through western Cuba, and maybe into Mississippi or Alabama and Louisiana. So be careful those areas. The models still have this like uh, here. So this is the 12C GFS. Does show the system there, passing by Jamaica, so heavy rain and gusty winds, and strengthens to like a mid-range category 1 in around Cuba, close to category 2, but that's like category 1 still. Then it passes through Cuba, some very heavy rain and strong winds. Please be careful. Then it shows going to the Gulf, might be some tropical storm conditions in a part or two of the Keys, and then it goes there, and it has this weakening a lot and going to Mississippi and Alabama. So that's good news for them, but bad news for Cuba. So be careful in those other areas around the Cayman Islands and Cuba. There's the 12C Canadian too, shows the system passed by Jamaica, a little bit weaker than the GFS, just tropical storm in Cuba, and then kind of goes messy towards Florida. And it does have the other disturbance trying to form up there just north of the Greater Antilles later. And about that other disturbance, the GFS uh, does have the disturbance there, but shows one a little bit further south into like Puerto Rico and some areas. And yeah, so the GFS is not really that developing that today. So let's see, there's the 0Z European, does take this south of Jamaica, but with a lot of heavy rain there too. Take this through Cuba. It's still very weak. The European is a tropical storm, goes into the Gulf and shows it maybe into Mexico. So the European is still going towards Mexico. There's the icon, shows Jamaica there, passes through the Cayman Islands, shows a little bit stronger in Cuba, and then goes there and kind of goes towards the Western Gulf as well. And then later, not it has the disturbance near the Great Antilles, but it doesn't really form into anything. There's the European for the other disturbance. It has there like those waves there. That disturbance passes just north of the Great Antilles, but that doesn't have it developing yet. So be aware. There's the Nevgen has passing through Jamaica, Cuba, and into the Gulf. And the GFS and the Nevgen is already developing the other system just north of the Turks and Caicos. So that's something to monitor. There's the HUR, the hurricane model. It has it there south of Jamaica, passes just south of Jamaica, but we will leave those nasty rain bands and storms in Jamaica. Goes there, passes through western Cuba as a category 1 or 2, but most like just category 1 in Cuba. Then it goes to the Gulf, shows it strengthening more, but then it weakens significantly before landfall in the US. So yeah, there's the halves A. So these runs are a little bit more realistic today than what they were yesterday. So let's see, shows passing by Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, should get some nasty conditions, and then it goes through Cuba there as a category 1, goes into the Gulf. This still has like a category 5, kind of unrealistic, but then it weakens a lot before landfall. There's the halves B too. Let's put the half speed parent so we can see the other areas. So it goes there, uh, but it still has a category 2, close category 3 going to Cuba. That's too strong, I think, but with that amount of ocean heat content in those areas, and everything's possible. So better be ready for anything. But it will most likely just be a category 1 there. Then has it going into the Gulf and weakening there. It does have the second disturbance there, but very weak, barely nothing. So be aware those areas and stay safe. Now maybe showing some tracks from the European model. So these are the ensembles. The European model does take this towards the Gulf, and most members curve it to the western Gulf, and some go north towards the northern Gulf. And it has very little support for the next system near the Greater Antilles, but yeah, it has mainly like tropical depression 18 on the board there. But we might need to monitor this next one, even if it doesn't develop, like it brings heavy rain and stuff. So yeah, now the GFS ensembles. Let's take this to like the 6C GFS maybe, because the other one is not in, to 246 hours. So it does have Rafael there. That's tropical depression 18 will become Rafael. Then it goes passing by Jamaica and Cuba, and most GFS members go towards the northern Gulf. And if you notice that the GFS has more support for the system north of the Greater Antilles too, so it has some more members showing stuff there as well. So be aware. But yeah, and let's see. I'll just leave this right here to show the rainfall later. So now let's see some impacts maybe. So first, the European rainfall accumulation, it does have a passing by Jamaica, close to 113 millimeters, 124 millimeters in Jamaica there. So be careful. It has it passing through West End in the Cayman Islands, close to 144 millimeters. So please be careful in those areas. Shows like some more than 133 millimeters in Cuba, 135. But the European has this a very weak system, so there'll likely be more rain than this. So don't get caught in like this forecast of weaker systems, because most of the hurricane models show this as a category 1, and the European is still at a weak tropical storm. So for example, the GFS has close to 200 millimeters in eastern Jamaica there in some areas, and this could cause some flooding there. It has in the Cayman Islands close to like 150 millimeters in some areas there. But surprisingly enough, the GFS barely has anything in Cuba there, like just some 80 millimeters or something. So that's kind of weird. But the icons making more sense. So like 173 millimeters in western Cuba, 217 Cayo Largo, shows almost 225 in western the Cayman Islands, and more in southern Jamaica and those areas. So stay safe in those areas from flooding, landslides, and everything else. So please stay safe. And here there's the Canadian model too. Let's put the 0C. So the show in so this is until Thursday. Shows it passing by Jamaica there, close to 100 millimeters or more, southern Jamaica. But in Cuba, it has had like 150 millimeters in some areas, especially Cayo Largo and some areas, but it doesn't have like a very big amount as well. But it does have a lot in western Cuba, southern Jamaica, the Cayman Islands. So be careful in those areas. Now, let's see. So this is the rain. Be careful there and be aware that this forecast might change still, and there might be more rain than this, especially if this is stronger. But now the wind gusts, the European model still has this very weak, but let's see it just for reference. Does show like some 46, 50 kilometer per gust in Jamaica, occasionally higher, just like 48, 50 and something. And it has been like in the Cayman Islands close to 67 kilometer per gusts, some 69 in some areas. And then it goes, strengthens a little bit, shows like 73 kilometer per gust in Cayo Largo and in other parts of Cuba. Goes there. It has some higher gusts in western Cuba, close to 76, 75 kilometer per gusts, and then this goes there. And in the Keys, might even a little bit higher gusts there too, in the higher seas, but yeah. And but that's the European that has a tropical storm there. Now let's see the GFS. Yes, those stronger winds in eastern Jamaica, western Jamaica actually, this is western Jamaica, shows this makes sense with the official forecast. They show like 73 kilometers per gust, 76 parts of western Jamaica. So be careful. It has the Cayman Islands, alright, so like close to hurricane conditions, so 95 kilometers per gust, 91, not 95, but like some 85, 91 kilometers per gust around West End. Then it goes there, strengthens a little bit more near Cayo Largo, 104 to 103 kilometers per gust. Then the GFS has this entering western Cuba there, close to like 101 to 202 kilometers per gust in parts of Cuba. This makes more sense now because this will be a little bit stronger, like close to category 1, but still not as strong as the hurricane models are showing. So it does have some high winds in Havana, close to 86 kilometers per gust, and maybe in the Keys, in the extreme west end of the Keys there. So be careful. There's the icon too. It has this there in Jamaica. He has some more stronger winds eastern Jamaica as well. And like, why is this not here? So it has like some 82 kilometers per gust in Jamaica, 77. Central to eastern Jamaica, that's western Jamaica. Sorry, western Jamaica close to 78 and 81 kilometers per gusts. Then this goes there, and then it has some high gusts in southwestern Cuba too. So be careful around there. Does show in the Cayman Islands, so more than 78 kilometers per gusts in some areas. This goes there towards Cayo Largo, shows more than 93 kilometers per gust occasionally, and then it goes towards Cuba. Does show some 92 kilometers per gust in some areas. Goes there, gets a little bit stronger there, and might leave some rough winds in the Keys. Not rough, but like some gusty winds. So be careful in those areas. But if this is stronger, like some hurricane models are showing, these winds will be obviously a lot stronger. So be aware of that. And outside those areas, we do have some gusty winds in parts of the central Bahamas, close to 73 to 72 kilometers per gust today, Monday. Does show most of the Bahamas some gusty winds. Tomorrow Tuesday, central northern Bahamas a little bit gustier than normal, shows there. Maybe gusty winds most of the southwestern Atlantics, some above winds, and this will cause a little bit larger waves too. And yeah, especially today in the eastern shores of the central Bahamas and Tuesday. So be aware. And the waves from this system does show a little bit higher in Jamaica, there the Cayman Islands close to 2 to 3 meters, and in Cuba, especially near Cayo Largo and some areas there. But this is the European that has this weaker. The GFS does have some larger waves there, who close like 4 meters or something. near Cayo Largo, and in West 10 it does have some waves there, even close to 5 meters. So be careful in those areas. And not only that, like the swells and the rip currents might be a danger in those beaches of the Caribbean and the Gulf. So be aware in those areas. Now, rain accumulation for like the southeastern U.S. Still, the European model still shows a crazy moisture surge in Georgia there, in South Carolina, and parts of northern Florida in the next 5 days. The icon has a big moisture surge in Georgia too, South Carolina, but the GFS not really. Has more in Florida. It has this going towards Florida, but uh, let's see, for example, the European forecast. It has this there. It shows more showers and storms in the Bahamas, and then there'll be this moisture surge ahead of Rafael. That'll bring some very heavy rains Wednesday and Thursday towards Georgia and South Carolina. And if this does happen, please be careful with flash floods, landslides, and stuff. But yeah, there's still tiny bit of uncertainty, but that might happen. So please be aware. Here, there's the satellite, some other models, and there's this model, the ship's forecast, does show there, doesn't have anything that strong, but yeah, around tropical storm to category 1 there. So be aware, and has like some winds there, uh, and some the heat content and everything. This like the wind shear and everything, and the environment shows like the sea surface temperatures, the wind shear. It does have some higher winds, so be aware. And here's the water vapor, shows a lot of moisture in those areas. It's still affecting Central America too, some heavy rains, so be careful. The rain accumulation still shows here like some uh, next 5 days in Costa Rica and Panama. The European model has close to like 300 millimeters in southern Costa Rica still, and considering all the rain they already had, this could cause some more potentials of some significant flooding there. So be careful in those areas. More than 100 millimeters most of western Costa Rica, parts of Panama. So stay safe from flooding, be smart, and stay away from like river flooding and streams, and be careful during periods of heavy rain. And this in the next 8 days shows even more those areas. That's the European. The GFS does have this like near the peninsula, western Costa Rica, more than 300 millimeters, as most of western Costa Rica 100, 200 millimeters plus, northwestern Panama as well, and southern Panama. So please stay safe, and later it has even more there in the next 8 days. The icon has much less, has like some 135 millimeters, but just more than 100 is a lot already. So be careful, and in the next 6 days shows even more. So stay safe in those areas, be aware. And might be more tropical downpours near southern Nicaragua, northwestern Nicaragua, more passing thunderstorms and showers near Honduras, and especially southern Honduras a little bit heavier, near El Salvador, Pacific Guatemala, so some more storms, and central Guatemala not much, but some showers, some storms in the northern Yucatan, shows in Belize a shower too, some storms there, and southern Mexico, those thunderstorms. So be aware. The GFS is similar thing, but the GFS is more in Nicaragua too, close to 100 meters in southern Honduras, El Salvador. So yeah, be aware in those areas. And yeah, so, so wait, so wait. So the show in the Eastern Caribbean too next 5 days, more in like those islands there, close to 75 millimeters in parts of Martinique, Guadeloupe, and some areas. So in Barbados, some 40 or more millimeters. Near the Virgin Islands, more there. Puerto Rico, so be aware in those areas, especially those periods, those lines of thunderstorms, some heavy rains. And yeah, so it does show here those passing showers and storms from time to time in the Eastern Caribbean. Dominican Republic might have some thunderstorms as well, and Haiti, in Puerto Rico, be aware from time to time this week. And on the Eastern Caribbean, be careful of like those passing thunderstorms that might have some heavy rain. So yeah, stay safe. does show there like uh, more in Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, does show in the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, some are showers and storms. So yeah, stay safe in those areas, and please monitor this in the Gulf, and stay safe in Cuba. And